Morning. Good morning.
السلام عليكم.
Morning, Matar.
Morning, Mr.
Why were you absent yesterday?
Morning.
I'm sorry.
Morning, Abdurrahman. No problem. Are you okay? Matar, are you okay?
كيف يا مستر؟
How is Omar now, guys? How is Omar?
He's getting better, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, Abdurrahman.
How are you, Mr.?
So we are 18 now.
See you next week, Mr.
Excuse me? Is it final? Hello?
Yes, we will go next week.
Are you coming next week, inshallah?
Yes.
Inshallah.
See you.
Inshallah, see.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Here abroad.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Hey? Abdurrahman. Okay, let's start. Yesterday we did the seafarer, and let's remember again, we are studying three poems, three Anglo-Saxon poems. They belong to the period between maybe 500 or 400 to 1066, when the Normans, when William the Conqueror, the French guy, conquered Britain. Before this conquest, England was Anglo-Saxon. It was affected by the immigrants coming from some northern countries like Northern Europe, as we said before, Germany, the Netherlands, Denmark, Sweden, and Finland, and so on. The Exeter book, an ancient book which was found, it has 4 scripts or manuscripts, 4 poems: the Seafarer, the Wanderer, the Wife's Lament, and Beowulf. In this term, inshallah, we are going to study the Seafarer. We've done with it, and the Wanderer and the Wife's Lament. We said that they all were written in Old English, if you remember. And Old English was Anglo-Saxon form of English, which cannot be understood in any way by modern speakers of English. You know, we have Old English, Medieval English, and Modern English. We can slightly understand Medieval English, the language Shakespeare used in his plays. But as for Old English, we have completely different words, completely different stuff. Yes?
Are they going to come in the exam?
Excuse me?
Are they going to come in the exam, the 3 poems?
Sure, but this is the literature we are studying. Everything we say is going to come. Okay? In Daniel?
Okay.
Okay. So, we talked about the Seafarer before. We said the 3 poems. Let's remember the titles again. The Seafarer, the Wanderer, and the Wife's Lament. The 3 have something in common. The 3 of them belong to the Anglo-Saxon period. The 3 of them have the same theme, which is exile. The 3 speakers or the 3 poets here in these 3 poems live in exile. And the first one, the Seafarer, we studied that it was a self-imposed exile. The speaker or the poet chose to live in exile. He enjoyed it. He enjoyed it, although it was full of suffering and hardships, as we said yesterday, yet he still enjoyed it and went back to the sea again and again. But he chose to be in exile. He chose to be in exile. The second poem is entitled The Wanderer. And you know the verb wander, W-A-N-D-E-R, N-D-E-R means to walk aimlessly. When you wander, like if you remember the famous poem by William Wordsworth, I wandered lonely as a cloud. When you wander lonely in the streets, you walk and your legs take you to wherever they go. Okay? You don't have a specific goal or aim to go to. The Wanderer was translated by Charles Kennedy, not by Burton Raffel, as I told you before. Burton Raffel translated all these words, but here we have the translation of someone else because there are many translations of these words. Charles Kennedy. Here we have an excerpt from the poem. Though woefully toiling, we have a space here. Pay attention to these spaces. We defined this space before. If you remember, put your hand up, please, and tell me what it is called. In the middle of the line, we have a pause. This space means pause when you read, to take your breath. Though woefully toiling, on wintry seas, with churning or in the icy wave, homeless and helpless, he fled from fate. So what are these spaces or pauses called? Put your hand up if you know the answer. What are these spaces or pauses in the middle of the line called? Any answer? Hello? Are you still there? I have Myrna. Okay, Myrna, what are they called?
I think it's, I don't know how to pronounce it, Caesaurus or something like that.
Exactly, Caesaurus. It's a Caesura and the plural is Caesaurus. Thank you very much, Myrna. So guys, this is a Caesura, C-A-E-S-U-R-A. If you have a pen and a piece of paper, C-A-E-S-U-R-A. I'll mute you because there is some noise. I'll mute you. Sorry. Okay. Summer, we have summer. So this pause, which is represented by a space in the middle of the line in this poem, is called a caesura. Spelling again, C-A-E-S-U-R-A. What's a caesura? These definitions are important. Danielle, these definitions are important matter. Okay, a caesura, we studied it before, is a pause in the middle of the line to let the reader take his or her breath. Okay, let's move on to the poem itself. I know the font is very small. Try to maximize it as much as I can. Hi. Here he says, oft to the wanderer, weary of exile, come God's pity, compassionate love, though woefully toiling on wintry seas, with churning or in the icy wave, homeless and helpless, he fled from fate. Thus said the wanderer, mindful of misery, grievous disasters and death of kin. As you can see, the language here is a little bit more difficult than the language of the seafarer. Here it's written in medieval English. You know, in medieval English, they used to use the TH instead of the S for the third person singular. Instead of writing the S with he, she, and it, they used to use the TH. But this is simply comes, but in the past, they used to write it this way. So, off to the wanderer, weary of exile. So this wanderer, this lone dweller, the original Old English word was lone dweller, a person who lives alone somewhere. Here, the Charles Kennedy chooses this word, off to the wanderer, weary, tired, exhausted of living in exile. Comes God's pity. He looks for God's pity, compassionate love, the sympathetic love or the pitying love of God, though woefully toiling, working hard, okay, on wintry seas. Again, he lives in the sea. Again, he is alone in the sea, among the high waves of the very cold winter, on wintry sea or seas, the seas of the winter, and you know how cold they are in the north, in Europe. With churning oar. Churning is a sound. The oar is a piece of maybe plastic or wood which we use to move the boat. Okay? In the icy wave. Can you imagine this picture? The wave is icy. The wave is made of ice. And you're using your oar to move through this icy wave. Can you see how hard it is? Can you see how much he suffers? Homeless and helpless. In this case, in this situation, he is homeless. He is in the open air in the sea and helpless. He doesn't know what to do. Here we have caesura, a caesura on each line. Remember, we have a caesura. It's represented by a space here. It's very clear here. He fled from fate. Fled means escaped. He fled from fate. Thus said the wanderer. This is what he says, or this is why he says, mindful of misery. His mind is full of misery and sadness. Welcome, Nada. Grievous disasters and death of kin. You know, kin means relatives. So looks like this man lives alone. He is a lone dweller. He is a wanderer in the open air, in the rough seas of the winter, alone, without any friends, without any relatives, without any, the most important thing at that time was his protector, his Lord. Without his Lord, he doesn't have a Lord. This is why he feels Hania, welcome Hania. Okay, so again, the man is alone in the sea, in the wintry seas, as he says. He's trying to find his way through the icy wave, and imagine how hard it is to, let's say, make his way through this icy wave. Of course, I think it's a hyperbole because the waves are not made of ice. Homeless and helpless, he fled from fate. What's his fate? His fate that he lost. وبعدين طيب خلاص. Okay. He lost all his kins, all his family, all his relatives, all his friends, and even his Lord, his protector. Okay? Remember that we said the Lord or the God or the king, sorry, of a gentleman at that time was his home. They didn't belong to a specific piece of land as we do now. They were very proud of belonging to a specific lord or king. And once this king dies or this lord is killed, the follower feels lost. Okay? Oft when the day broke, oft at the dawning, in the early morning, lonely and wretched. I feel lonely and desperate. I wailed my woe. I remember my sorrows, my sadness. No man is living. No one is left. No relative. No friend. No Lord. No comrade left. A comrade is camarade en français, you know what I mean, or friend. No friend. To whom I dare fully unlock my heart. I don't have anyone to share my secrets, to share my feelings. Can you imagine this? If they want to put you in prison and torture you in a specific way, they put you in a room individually. This is a severe punishment. If you do something wrong in the prison, they put you in an individual room or in a room individually. because if you live for 1 year, for example, without finding anyone to talk to, you'll get crazy, you'll turn mad. Okay, I have learned truly the mark of a man. What are the features of a man? Is keeping his counsel, maybe his group, his tribe, his people, unlocking his lips. Let him think what he will, for woe of heart withstand not fate, a failing spirit. He is describing how he is feeling, earn no help. And this is his case now. He is a failing spirit and he is helpless. He doesn't know what to do because he doesn't have anyone to share his secrets, his feelings. Okay? Full loneliness. Men eager for honor bury their sorrow. If a man is eager, wants honor, he should bury his sadness under the ground, deep in the breast. Here, he should bury it deep in his chest or breast. So have I also. I did the same. Often in wretchedness, in misery, fettered my feelings. I have tied hard. I have tied tightly my feelings, far from my kin, homeless and hapless. I live far away from my kin, my relatives, homeless and hapless, since days of old, a long time ago, when the dark earth covered my dear Lord's face. Here, the first time to mention his Lord, looks like his Lord died in a way or another, or was killed, and he was buried underground. So when the dark earth covered his dear Lord's face, which means when my Lord was buried underground, and I sailed away, he had to sail away from this place because, again, his home was his Lord. His Lord died, he has no home here. He should look for another Lord, another protector. And I sailed away, and he chose to sail in the sea. I don't know why they chose the sea, most of them. I sailed away with sorrowful heart, a heart full of sadness, over wintry seas, again, seeking a gold Lord. So why did he sail away? Why did the speaker here, we can say the speaker, sail away from his place? Because he lost, or he's lost his Lord, his protector, and he had to find a new one, seek a gold Lord. Again, in the past, lords, kings used to give gold after their victories. They used to give gold to their followers once they have won any war or defeated any enemy. If far or near, lived one to befriend me, with gift in the mead hall and comfort for grief. I wonder if I can find, because I'm seeking a gold Lord, if far or near, maybe someone is living now, a new Lord is living far or near, lived one to befriend me, to take me as a follower, with gift in the mead hall, with gold, and you know the mead hall, their homeland, the place, the hall where they gather to celebrate their victories, to drink and have their feasts, and, okay? And comfort for grief. I need someone to listen my grief, my sadness. Who bears it knows what a bitter companion, shoulder to shoulder, sorrow can be. Everyone knows what it means when you have a person or a friend who stands by your side, shoulder to shoulder, okay? Losing such a friend is such a sorrow. When friends are no more, you can imagine how sorrowful it is to have no friends. He is describing his feeling or his lonely life again and again. His fortune is exile. All he has is exile, and exile is nothing. Can you imagine? if you live far away from your family, you have everything. You live in a home. You have the internet. You can chat with them online, but still you miss them. You miss them very much, and they miss you. Okay? He doesn't have any of these luxuries. Okay? He lives on his own in the middle of the waves, as he describes here. No, not gifts or fine gold. His fortune is exile. This is all he has now. No gifts or fine gold. A heart that is frozen from this weather and from his sorrowful experiences. Earth is winsomeness dead. Earth is pleasures dead. He doesn't have any drinks, any friends, any singing, any dancing, any food, any good food, like the food he used to have, or the friends he used to have back in the Nile hole. And he dreams of the whole men, his friends back in the whole men, the dealing of treasure, the days of his youth, when his Lord bade welcome to wassail and feast. He tries to remember the old days of the hall when he used to go there and the Lord welcomed them all and offered them drinks and food and so on. When his Lord bade welcome, when his Lord welcomed him to wassail and feast, to food and drink. But gone is that gladness. This happiness has come to an end. Everything has come to an end. And never again, hasn't come back again. Shall come the loved counsel of comrade and king. This good company of friends and king or lord will not come back again. Everything is gone. I feel completely lonely. Even in slumber, even in his dreams, his sorrow assails, his sadness attacks him, even in his dreams. And dreaming, he clasped his dear Lord again. He dreams in his dreams, he dreams of his Lord, head on knee, putting his head, the wanderer's head on the Lord's or the king's knee, hand on knee, loyally pledging his liege, pledging his loyalty to his Lord or to his king. You remember these days when they used to kneel in front of the Lord or the king and put their hands on the king's or the Lord's knee and pledge their loyalty to him, okay, in that time. As in days long past, as he used to do in the past days. Then from his slumber, he starts lonely-hearted. He wakes up from his slumber, finds himself alone, beholding gray stretches of tossing sea. When he opens his eyes, after having such dreams, he can see gray stretches of the sea in front of him. Seabirds bathing. The seabirds are bathing in the water around him with wings outspread. They are happy. And on the other hand, he is not. Okay? While hailstorms darken and driving snow, bitterer than is the pain of his wretchedness. Although it snows all the time, but what's bitterer than snowing is the pain of his misery. Okay? The longing for loved one. He longs for, or he wants very much to have a friend, to have a kin, to have a Lord. His grief is renewed. When he wishes he had a Lord or a friend or a relative, his grief, his sadness, his sorrow is renewed, attacks him again and again. The forms of his kinsmen, the shapes, the faces of his relatives take shape in the silence. He imagines that they all are in front of him in the sea. All in rapture, he greets them. Happily, he greets them. He waves to them. Hello, hello, hello. He's happy to find them, even their ghosts or shadows. In gladness, he scans. Old comrades remember. Happily, he remembers the faces of his old friends. But they melt into air because they are not true, with no word of greeting. Although he happily greets them, they don't even greet him back. They vanish into thin air quickly to gladden his heart. They didn't even greet him to make his heart happy. They leave silently without even greeting him. Then again surges his sorrow upon him. After their vanishing, his sadness again attacks him, and grimly he spurs his weary soul once more to the toil of the tossing sea. He buries his weary soul into the tossing sea in the rough sea. I think the poem is about 100 line and 5, 100 and let's say and 8. I'll stop at this part and go up, Hania, and go up to have some notes. I have a question here. If you know the answer from the part I have read, what people and experiences does the poet remember? From the part we have explained what, I have a question here, what people and experiences does the poet or the speaker remember? I am all ears. Put your hands up, please. I have Myrna only, as usual. You are 24 or 23 guys. Please all put your hands up. Put your hands up, please. The answer is very easy. I said it again and again and again. Again, what people? What people and experiences does the poet remember? I have Myrna only. Still Myrna only. Where are the others? Who else? What people and memories or experiences, sorry, does the poet remember? I have Myrna and Daniel now, just 2 out of 23. Okay, Peter, just 3 out of 23. 20 people are sleeping or what? 4, Rashwan. Thank you very much. Okay, I have 4 only. Okay, I'll go to Peter.
Yes, sir. I wanted to say that my connection was lost in between the session and I didn't hear.
Okay, no problem. No problem. No problem. Mute yourselves, please. Thank you. I'll go to Ahmad Matar.
Yes, Mr.
Ahmed.
Yes.
Okay, Ahmed, go ahead.
I thought you said raise our hands, but go ahead to do what I didn't hear.
Excuse me?
What do you want me to do?
Ahmed, are you following up with us?
Yes, yes.
What people and experiences does the poet remember?
I'm sorry, I was unmuted. I don't remember.
Okay, no problem. Let's go to Daniel.
Yes, Mister. I think what life was like with his Lord.
Yes. This is one experiences.
I really don't remember the others.
Okay, Myrna. Thank you. Daniel, Myrna?
He remembers his comrades, the Lord and his kin. He mentioned the experience of the mead house and how they all gathered, and he'd give them the whistle or something like that, that meant food, and they would drink.
Thank you very much, Myrna. As Myrna said, the man remembered his Lord, his lost friends, his lost kins or relatives, and his life back on earth in the mead hall with his friends, and everything, all his memories of the past. Okay. Another question, guys. We defined what, because this is important. Hania, what's wrong with your connection? Hania, can you hear me? Hania keeps asking to join. I admit her, and again she asked me again. I admit her, and then we'll play the same game again and again. Okay. I think she sent me a message. Okay, guys, what's a caesura? For the 10th time, I ask, what is a caesura? No problem, Hania. If you can hear me, no problem. I have Minna this time. Minna, what's a caesura? Because we focused on it today.
It's a pause between lines.
Okay. Why
It's
do we need this
between
pause?
lines.
Yes. To let the reader
To separate ideas.
To let the reader take some time or take some breath before completing
To
the line.
comprehend ideas. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'll stop here. If you have any question, put your hands down, please. Thank you. If you have a question, thank you, Danielle, Myrna, and Minna. Thank you very much. If you have a question, please put your hand up. Danielle asked me if this in the exam. Everything we say is in the exam. And as you see, I overteach. I say everything again and again, every time. If you have any question, please go ahead. The definitions, the vocab we focus on, the themes, the paraphrasing the lines. I paraphrase line by line, almost word by word. And the most important thing is that you attend and understand what's said. In the exam, you write whatever you understand and you'll get the full mark, inshallah. Okay? So you just need to attend and try to pay attention to what we're doing. Because some people join us and go to bed. I'm sure, yani, in front of me now we have 23 or 22 students. About 4 or 5 are listening and the others are not. You know what happens. Maya has a question.
Mr. in the exam, will you ask us about the poem or you're teaching now, or you will give us a poem that we never read?
No, these ones, these very poems, the Seafarer, not other poems, okay? We ask about these poems because they are maybe the first forms of poems written in English. And all the poems, all the ancient poems were lost except these 4 ones because they were saved in the Exeter book. We talked about the Exeter book before, okay?
Yes.
You are going to be asked about the stuff we are explaining only, not another poem, not other poems, okay?
Okay.
Okay, any other question? Put your hand down, Maya, thank you. Any other question? Okay, thank you very much. I'll end the meeting now and we'll complete the wonder tomorrow, inshallah. See you. Assalamu alaikum.